Now, this is what you see every day. But this is what you don't see. Health at Desktop helps you get rid of these unwanted aches, pains and strains you don't see. For pains on your back, neck, wrist, eyes and elbow, choose Health at Desktop for lasting relief. Just keep it that way, Tim. That's fantastic. I really like the way we're working here, Tim. 60-40 in my favour. Normal deal, the usual thing. That's great, Tim. Yeah, all right then, Tim. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Yeah, I'm having lunch now. See you later, Tim. All right. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, not bad.
What's with the laptop? I thought we were having lunch.
Yeah. Wonders of technology. I'm getting emails in the bathroom, emails in the cab, emails on the toilet. Emails, emails, emails.
Rough day, huh?
Rough day. Rough week, rough month, rough couple of months. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I can't get back to sleep. I don't even know why. I'm getting these horrible pains in my shoulders.
Ah, that's stress.
Stress? Oh, what do you know about stress?
Quite a bit, actually. I mean, I've been doing research. I've been researching my carpal tunnel. I've researched my husband's migraines, and stress keeps popping up. And stress is just a natural response to changes in our environment. So, but not only do we react to it psychologically and emotionally, but did you know you can react to it physically as well? And that's what your shoulder pain is.
Well, that's interesting, because that's what my doctor said.
Ah, see? I told you so.
Stress. It is our natural response to any sort of change that requires adjustment. Not only do we react to stress psychologically and emotionally, our bodies react to stress physically as well.
Dr. Lim Yun Chin is a consultant psychiatrist for Health Promotion Board Mental Wellness Program. I'm certain he knows a thing or two about stress.
I think what is important in this understanding of stress is, number one, stress can be temporary, can be transient, right? And of course, stress can be chronic. Fight or flight response is what we inherited from our ancestors. In other words, when we perceive any situation that is going to create an overwhelming fear in us, we have two choices: either to deal with this onslaught of events or to flight, to run. Right? But of course, in modern society, we may not have that opportunity. You can't run away from a very nasty situation at work. You have no job, right? So we have to deal with it in a more constructive way. Every human being, our body and mind is made to adapt. Some can adapt better than others, but the fact is everybody can adapt. And so we find the right environment, the ideal environment where we bring out the best in us.
In essence, stress is a good thing. Unfortunately, too much of a good thing can be bad, because stress is meant to be short-term response, not a long-term reaction.
Change generates uncertainty, and uncertainty will always trigger off a lot of anxiety. Our arousal level is elevated, and that prepares us for some action, for some calamity. But this constant level of arousal is not good for our body, because a lot of adrenaline is being prepared or being secreted, and we are just like the leopard in the jungle waiting to pounce. Can you imagine somebody 24 hours a day, 24/7 in this state? Some consequence will happen, right? So the issue is not whether there are more people having stress, but we realize that we are living in times of tremendous change, which begets a lot of uncertainty. Individuals who are committed to what they're doing, who see events as a challenge, and who have a control over their lives in terms of diet, exercise, how they structure their lives, seem to survive better than those who do not. So we call this the 3 C's of resilience: commitment, control, and challenge.
Stress can be categorized into 3 types. Eustress. This is the type of positive stress that keeps us vital and excited about life. Some examples are the excitement of a roller coaster ride, playing a particularly thrilling video game, or racing to meet a deadline. Acute stress is short-term stress, the type we encounter in day-to-day life when we encounter a traffic jam, for example.
Then there is chronic stress, the type of stress that never seems to end, like when you're stuck in a bad job. This type of stress is very debilitating and can lead to burnout.
Usually burnout happens at the end of a journey, so you don't find it in the early stage of a person's struggle with stress, right? It may take years, or it may take months, but the fact is, it tends to happen after an ongoing, unremitting struggle. The stress may not be of severe magnitude, and you may not even notice it. It may just come in the form of repeated having a recurrent flu or cold. Your immunity is very low. You find that you can't sleep, right? And then the work that you've been doing, you find that it takes a lot out of you to do the same thing. We tend to see burnout in individuals who are involved in jobs or situations where they have to do it again and again, just like in the helping profession, you know, where there are no substantial, tangible rewards.
Well, I'm not burnt out.
Ah, but you are stressed out. Admit it.
Okay, maybe just a little. Okay, maybe more than a little. Okay, I am quite a bit stressed.
Yes, you are. And self-awareness is the first step to recovery.
Yeah, well, I'm not half as stressed as my friend Rudy was.
Rudy? What's his story?
Well, I'll tell you about that later, because I am hungry and I am stressed.
Ah.
And hungry man is a stressed man.
I believe it.
Okay, fine, Linda was right. I am under a lot of stress. So I decided to take these steps so that I won't end up being burnt out. I now resist the urge to be a perfectionist. I try to dispel negative thoughts and do not give in to them. I will talk it out when things get tough, or even take time out to relax, like listening to music. And if all else fails, I try to at least learn to look at the lighter side. Humor helps.
Could be bringing part 2 over from England very soon.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so looking.
Oh, looks great.
Thank you. That's for you. It's non-alcoholic.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll just have the set lunch.
Make it 2. There you go. All right.
Yeah. So you were about to tell me about Rudy. What's the story?
Yeah, well, with Rudy, well, he just started his own business, and he's only in his 20s, right? And it was getting too intense for him. He was very driven and very focused.
Having started his business when he was 20, Rudy Pierre Loh is one of Singapore's youngest self-made entrepreneurs. He currently wears the hat of managing director at his own firm, X-Synergy Group Private Limited. Now in his late 20s, Rudy can attest to how stress affected him in the early years of the business.
Being a young man, you know, you would think that you can handle more pressure, and that if it fails, you could move on. So I was okay with the pressure, and I thought, you know, just bring it on, you know, bring the pressure on. I would work and I would get over whatever difficulty there was. Adversity affected the business as well, because the directors, you know, was so bogged down with work, they didn't have a sense of direction anymore. And we all did not know where we were headed.
He knew he was pushing himself, but he felt he was young and a little hard work never hurt anyone. But he was wrong.
I had migraines all the time. In fact, many of my friends would know that. I had shortness of breath. In other related problems, there were a couple, in fact, that was definite. Because it could be because I didn't sleep much, yeah, but I was always tired. I was always lethargic. So everyone could see that. It was evident, and it did not work well for me in business to be tired all the time. You know, but I always thought that there's so much things to do, so many deadlines to meet. So let me just quickly get over the process. Just work hard, and I will see the results at the end. And migraines will go away. That was my concept. You know, they won't last forever.
And you know, stress is not a figment of the imagination. Stress generates hormones being released in your body. right? And of course, if this is going to occur on a kind of an incessant pattern, it's going to wear the body out. And not only wear the body out, your immune system, which is so vital to keep us healthy, is going to break down. So with that kind of scenario, this individual will be vulnerable to a wide range of disorders.
After many months of abuse, Rudy's body finally gave him a wake-up call he could not ignore.
Okay, the major turning point was when I experienced a heart attack at a very young age. It still did not deter me from continuing what I was doing because I didn't really realize that it was a heart attack. I kind of mistook the first one as just chest pain, but I realized it wasn't chest pain because the pain was not in the chest area. It was in a totally different area. But after it went away, I tend to forget about it.
Stress is nature's way of trying to help us. It is nature's way of trying to tell us we are in trouble. So to do that, nature gave us symptoms or signs. So it could range from a lot of physical symptoms or emotional symptoms. Now, every individual has their own favorite stress signals. So say for some it's chest pain, difficulty in breathing, gastric juice secretion excessive. For others, it will be giddiness, headache, nausea, legs cramp. So each of us, in terms of understanding stress, must identify or know what is his favorite stress signals. If the stress signals are released or being discharged and you ignore it, nature will give us more symptoms. So there are a lot of people coming with stress symptoms like headache, chest pain, gastric juice secretions because they have not been listening to their stress signals.
Simon, the signs of stress are not hard to see. In fact, chronic stress can present itself in all aspects of life. Stress can affect cognition or the way your brain works. It can affect your memory. You start to make bad decisions. You become negative, anxious. You start to worry about everything.
Yeah, I know. Stress can affect your emotions. You become angry, short-tempered, restless, irritable, tense and edgy, depressed, just like you were last week.
Me?
You!
I knew that coffee was going to come back to haunt me.
Caffeine.
Stress can also affect your behavior. Eating and sleeping patterns may change. Your social patterns may change. You may pick up unhealthy habits, such as snacking on the job and thus gaining weight like me.
Eating has often been used as a way of comfort. Right? So when people say they're eating more, it's obviously they're resorting to comfort eating, which is very unhealthy. Right? There are better ways of coping with stress than to turn to food. Just like some who are when they are stressed, they lose their appetite. Right? So both extremes are not beneficial.
Did Rudy get the hint to get help?
Well, yeah, but then he wasn't going to let a small setback like that stop him.
After, 1 week, 2 weeks, you tend to forget about it and then you start thinking, did it really happen? I know it happened, but was it that serious? And then, you decide to just continue first, and then if anything else happens again, and then maybe we'll do something about it.
Because he continued to put his body under severe stress and strain, Rudy was to suffer not one, but another 2 heart attacks.
I couldn't move. I was frozen and I was stuck in the hallway of the office. And my staff saw what happened, and they were really scared. And their fear, in fact, made me even more scared because, I saw how scared they were. I also became scared. Everyone said to go and see a doctor to stop delaying. In fact, they were very concerned. So I made the appointments, I went to see the doctor. They were, in fact, very concerned. So they told me not to take things so seriously, to relax, take a break, maybe get other people to take care of the business first.
Understanding Rudy's condition makes me realize that as an employee, I can take some measures that will help me reduce stress in the workplace. I now make sure I know my job description, and I cultivate allies at work. When I know that I'm not the only one under all that pressure, it helps. And if all else fails, I always have the option of quitting. No job is worth dying for.
Your friend Rudy actually suffered from 3 heart attacks from being stressed, from starting his own business?
Yep, and he was only 27.
Whoa, that's scary.
Yeah, what can I say? Stress is a real killer.
So we know that being overworked is a huge source of stress.
Tell me about it, and that is not the only cause.
It's not?
Nope.
Just about anything can be stressful. But in this fast-paced world, working adults are admittedly one of the most stressed out bunch.
In fact, an estimated 43% of adults suffer from health effects brought on by stress. Recent research suggests that 60 to 90% of illnesses are stress-related. Even the World Health Organization recognized this, declaring in 1996 that stress is a worldwide epidemic.
There are 3, in all the studies shown, in the workplace, there are 3 categories of stress. One is the job itself, the demands, the tight schedule, the deadline, that is the nature of the job. Then the environment, it could be a physical environment, whether it's comfortable or not. But in Singapore, most of the physical environments are very, very conducive. But that's what we call the political environment, the kind of office politics. That could be a big stress also. And the third category is relationship. Relationship with your superior, your subordinates, your peer, your client or customers. And in most studies that has been done, most employees say the most stressful component is the relationship. People can say, look, I don't mind my work, but I can't stand so and so,
The pressures and demands that cause stress are known as stressors. Anything that forces us to adjust can be a stressor. Technology has also added to the stress through information overload, heightened pressure for productivity, and a threatening sense of impermanence in the workplace.
When I started the business with my partners, I was very focused and I decided that I was going to give it all. Myself, I was working at least 13 to 16 hours a day, and some days I did not even sleep at all. I was replying emails at 4, 5 a.m. Things started getting pretty bad when there were like 2 calls coming in at one time and I couldn't cope. So what happened was that I started to neglect the sports, even things like just maintaining a fit lifestyle, like even walking. I wouldn't walk, I would just take a taxi because time was important. I could earn more per hour if I took the taxi rather than get a little bit of exercise.
After his 3rd heart attack, Rudy finally made a conscious effort to slow down.
I cut down my working hours drastically, and I attended a lot of time management courses on how to prioritize what's important. And the biggest change came about when I decided to delegate most of my work and focus on the bigger picture of the company. And when I was able to delegate the work, I found that I had more time to do the things that were important, and I could work within 8 hours a day. I'm exercising, I need to hit the gym and run a bit, So I would exercise every day. I would run about 2-3 times a week.
I think exercise and diet, every human being needs it, right? We know that exercise is not only good for the physical health, it's extremely beneficial for your mental health, because we know now that when you exercise regularly, consistently, your brain secretes a neurotransmitter known as serotonin. And serotonin has been implicated in alleviating depression. So therefore, when you have adequate serotonin in your brain, you're going to enjoy mental well-being. And then the diet, balanced nutrition, we know has always been an integral part of what a healthy lifestyle should be.
For Rudy, going through the adverse effects of stress has also motivated him to prioritize his work and life and take a more balanced view.
Okay, I think what's important is basically to sit down, okay, and just stop what you're doing, Take time out and just think about what you want out of life and whether what you're doing is actually meeting what you want out of life. And there's no point reaching it if you're not there to enjoy it.
Well, I'm glad Rudy's story has a happy ending.
Yeah, well, me too.
Yeah, and I hope you've learned something from Rudy's experience.
I'm already practicing what I've learned.
How?
Well, I'm talking things out and I've an ally at work.
Of course you do. Now, how about another drink?
Yeah, whatever.
Don't get cheap on me. Come on.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Waiter.
Apart from just talking things out and having an ally at work, I realized that I can do more to help reduce workplace stress. I now share information with my peers at work. I also share in decision-making, adjust workload, and value my colleagues. I also help create a friendly and social work climate by providing social interaction among employees. These simple steps really make my work and life less stressful. Try them.
Channel News Asia, a network of MediaCorp News.